Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, we are working on one of my recreational hobbies that I've been waiting to do for a long time.
This is a lineup of some of my favorite things in the entire world. They are Polaris, Razor, and four-wheelers. These are my kids. And then on top of them is a awesome new product from Rugged Radios for their headsets, who is partnering with today's task.
I don't know if you've ever been out on a Razor, I recommend it. But if you've spent a day talking to your passenger back and forth, by the time you're done with the trail, you are completely hoarse because you've had to yell back and forth because they are loud. The wind is loud, everything is loud. There is a cool tool to put inside your vehicles and even on the little kids' machines that allows you to talk and communicate with everybody in the cab and also the other people you're riding with. So your buddy who's a couple hundred yards back or ahead of you, you can communicate with them.
One thing I'm really interested in is the radios that are set up for these little kid four-wheelers.
Half the battle of letting the kids ride these machines is being able to tell them kind of how to go over a certain terrain or when to come back, how to let off the throttle, hit the brake a little bit sooner, to give them a little bit guidance without screaming at them at the top of your lungs, and they still won't hear it through their helmets. In today's video, we're going to install the helmet kits for the kids and the helmet radios for their little machines today. First things first is the push to talk button for the kids. They'll be able to ride and push the button to talk, and then they'll be able to communicate back with me. Super simple install. You're going to bring this around to the handlebar, and they give you plenty of slack, which I clearly have too much, so I want to take just a little bit off. I'm gonna put it in place and measure. I'm taking about 3/4 of an inch off because it's just too much and it gets in the way of it holding really firm. Measure your handlebar for the different model of vehicle you have, and then install. Now with this in place, they can just reach over, push the button, and they'll be able to talk. Your kit will also include a zip tie to kind of just secure that wire to the machine itself as well. And then cut off the slack of that. And then that can stay there. And if you're not using this, I'll just probably tuck that up in there somewhere so it's out of the way. All right, the next step is installing the headphones into your existing helmet. That's the cool part. You don't have to buy another helmet. So I have all these helmets for the kids, and their radio system will attach right into it. In order to do this, you're gonna have to remove these side pieces. And they're typically removable on most helmets. And right back in here, just below you get into, just below the helmet casing, I guess you would call it, there's an open area for the pad as well. And that is where we want that earpiece to go. So we're gonna clean it and then adhere it. Although this tangly mess does look like a disaster, it's really simple. You have an earpiece for each side of the helmet, and these 3M stickers come off. You can bond them, then you can Velcro it back on to the head or to the earpiece. Then we'll move our way down to the mouthpiece. So I've gone ahead and got the mouthpiece secured and the earpiece is secured and the wire coming out. Now, one thing I do recommend is kind of take a look at how the helmets are gonna sit on the machine. One thing to note is make sure that you have the wires coming out of the helmet on the same side of the rider and machine that your push to talk button is on. You don't want to have wires crossing in between you at all if you can help it. I was a little nervous about how this was going to stay in and stay in place, so I actually drilled 2 small holes and zip tied it so you can't even tell right there, and then our foam piece is going to cover that up. So we'll take our foam piece, place it back as far as it will go. Another option for your microphone and for your earpieces to go in a kit is to buy the Rugged Radios microphone adapter for the helmets. This is a piece so you don't have to like use the zip ties and glue it in or anything like that. Those are different options out there. There's this one, and I like the zip tie, and both work really, really well. What is cool about this system is now these walkie-talkies that the kids can just use as walkie-talkies that work really well. You plug into your helmet like so. With your radio on, you can clip it to your pocket. You get on your machine and plug it in to your machine. So now you can talk and everybody can hear you, or you can listen and just drive it. It's not in your way or anything. Perfect. Now that I've shown you how to get your helmets capable of talking to each other while you're out on the trail,
or at least your little machines talking to each other, how do I make this guy communicate with all of them?
you will need its radio system.
The cool part is they've already thought about where to put it. You can attach it to this lower part underneath here, but it really doesn't give a lot of stability. So you will remove this middle glove box, and now it fits right in that void. After we have removed our little glove compartment that's in there, you will install the bracket. Now, I clamped mine in, and you're gonna drill through these holes, and it holds it in place. Now we can set both the radio and the intercom in place. And I really recommend with all 4 of these screws that you'd use here, get them started first, then tighten them down. Do not tighten one all the way down first. That's never a good idea. Now with both our radio and our intercom in and in place, we just have to hook up those wires, and we'll run the wiring harness for that now. The next step is to get power from our radios back to our battery. So we're going to pull our seats up. Keep track of your orientation for the seat belts because they do line up a certain way. And all we want to do is get everything exposed back here. Run your wires back to this battery and just kind of set them there for right now, and then run them all the way up our center console. Now we can go ahead and loosen up our terminals. And you really want to make sure your terminals are tight when you put them back on, or else they will not start your battery very well. Now with both of our wires hooked up, I'm going to zip tie them to the battery cables, so that's what they'll follow all the way back to the front of the vehicle. Okay, you guys, now that our power is ran up here, if you have bought the audio filter adapter as well, it actually gives you power to both your intercom and your radio itself. So put your filter in. Oh, there we go. I'm still trying to figure out how everything works, but our radio is functioning, and now we can actually use our intercom right here.
That's really loud. Now the kids will be able to hear me while they're riding their vehicle and I'm driving mine.
So now we can secure our center console back together.
Now that our radio is all the way in, I am just doing one last step, and that is to clean the area where we're going to hold our push to talk. Carefully take off the sticky pad for your magnet. 90% of adhesion is prep work. So clean it, let it dry, put it on there. Now our microphone hangs out right there. You guys, I don't know if this was as fun of a video for you to watch as it was for me to do. I've been dying to have an opportunity to ride with the kids and then talk to them back and forth. And these rugged radios completely provide that for me. I like these radios for 2 reasons. One, it is safety. Now I can communicate with the kids, they can communicate with me if they're in trouble. These have a very long range, up to 10 miles, if not further, depending on what kind of viewpoint you have. So the safety goes a long way for that. 2, I like it because now I can communicate with the kids and really show them and say to them, hey, that was a sweet jump, or hey, you did a great job traversing that terrain or whatnot. That was a great line you picked, or hey, this is so much fun. I don't know, it's just awesome to be able to talk to the kids. So I really love this part of it, and I'm excited to put them to use this weekend. So stay tuned for that video that's gonna come up on my wife's channel on showing how we use these out in the wild.
If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And until next time,
We'll see you later. Hi guys, and
if the dogs don't give up, don't worry about it.
you are horse. Let's get a different shot.
Different angle, Joel.
You can communicate with them.
To our handlebar, to a good, bring the strap around nice, and
He's got some scissors or something.
now with this in plate.
Once you step up to the once you step up to the range for,
Now with both our
Breaker. He's bound it down, load it up and truck him. Copy that. We gon' do what they say can't be done.
pull the sticker,
We got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
there's just a jet outside.
Watch your bandit run.
Let this helicopter go by.